Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
How is it?
Thank you.
So what's your first name? Kartik?
Yes, sir. Kartik is my first name.
First name. Very good name. Kartik refers to a particular god, no?
Yes, sir. Lord Kartikeya, sir.
Lord Kartikeya. Okay. And you are from Surat.
Yes, sir.
Usually, people from Gujarat, they don't opt for civil service.
Yes.
Any particular reason for you to try your hand in civil service? Your father is a doctor.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are
Sir,
not interested in medicine.
no, sir. I do not have any interest in medical line.
Okay.
Sir, the reason for civil service was because I was inspired by the then SMC Commissioner, Surat Municipal Commissioner, post-plague outbreak, Mr. S.R. Rao.
Yeah.
So he had completely transformed the Surat. So while I was in school, somewhere I had heard his mind and was little bit inclined towards the civil services. But by the time I graduated, I was in college. So I had made up my mind to pursue civil service as my career.
And why you studied mechanical engineering from IIT?
Yes, sir. So, sir, for civil services, all the civil service is very generalist job and it requires people from diverse background. So, even the optional subjects itself reflect that mechanical engineers are also required into the civil services. So, I had all the options available with me when I was in 12th standard. So, I chose the best option available with me. That's why I chose to graduate from IIT. And since I had somewhat inclination towards machines and all from quite early, so that is why I chose mechanical engineering.
What was your subject in civil services?
Sorry, sir.
Mechanical optional is
Mechanical engineering is one of the optional subjects.
So you have the option subject mechanical.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So and you feel that you can use your knowledge of mechanical engineering in civil service?
Definitely, sir.
Tell me how.
Sir, application of core knowledge, core engineering knowledge is although limited, but other things which the skills which I have acquired as part of my 4-year curriculum, that I could put to use, like objectivity, rationality, etc. But even the core application, core knowledge can be applied. For instance, there is industrial engineering is one part of the subject. So in that we study about project evaluation and review technique, critical path method, etc. These are basically the techniques on how the project should be undertaken and how it should be completed. Other than that, if I get into IAS, then the scope further increases. For instance, IAS people had various departments like industry department, steel department, coal ministry, etc. So over there also core mechanical engineering could be put to use.
Okay. You know, S.R. Rao was given a Padma Shri.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He was awarded.
What is the unique thing he did in Surat?
Sir, he undertook several initiatives in Surat. First is with respect to cleaning the city. Surat used to be one of the dirtiest cities. So he mandated all the SMC officials to be present on site, daily at 7 a.m. to personally supervise all the cleanliness that is going on. Then he he changed the rules and bylaws of SMC. And that is by making littering and all heavily, he punished everyone. So strict enforcement policies he introduced. Apart from that, he also introduced anti-encroachment drives. So he started with the bungalows which were illegally constructed of MPs and MLAs of Surat, so as to send a strong signal to
Obstructing the drainage system.
Yes, sir. Sewerage system also he worked a lot in this field as well, sir.
Yeah. And he himself is from a city called Rajahmundry in Andhra Pradesh.
That's good to know, sir.
Yeah. Which is again a dirty city with a lot of pigs. Big nuisance, pigs. So I used to joke, SR, that you should have improved your city first, not Surat. He's a good friend. He was with me in IPS. Joined IS in 78. Okay, good. Tell me about this coronavirus.
Sir, coronavirus is the family of viruses which is responsible for many flu-like diseases like Middle East respiratory syndrome, severe acute respiratory syndrome, the recent outbreak in China that is of novel coronavirus, and other flu-like diseases. Sir.
How real is the threat to India at this moment?
Sir, talking about the present moment, uh, although yes, there is indeed a threat because we have very good trade relationships. So because of the trade between India and China, so through ports also the workers which travel across the sea, they can spread the virus, as well as air connectivity is also very good between India and China. Many of our students study in China, sir. So yes, there is indeed the threat. But at this juncture, at the present time, if I talk about, then other than Kerala, no other state has acquired this coronavirus, as well as
Delhi, you have positive cases, I think.
sorry, sir, I'm not aware.
Delhi,
No, delivery.
अच्छा, affected, suspected.
Suspected cases. Kerala में दो है.
So, sir, Kerala, there were 3 cases, and now all of them are stable, and no new case has been detected in since past week or so. So, I think although there is threat, we need to be on alert, but we are not on emergency or calamity-like situation as of now, sir.
Okay. You have qualified already for IPS.
Yes, sir.
If you get selected into IS, you will quit IPS.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If I get selected.
And you have no inclination for foreign service because you haven't opted for foreign services.
Yes, sir. Sir, I do have relatively, although Indian Foreign Service is one of the very good services, but I have always the inclination towards working in the service which provides direct dealing with the people, sir. So, since IAS and IPS provide such opportunity, which IFS doesn't to some extent, that is why, sir, I have not put that.
Have you joined the training? No.
No, sir. I am presently on extraordinary.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You admire India's position in the global world now these days.
Yes, sir.
So you claim for permanent seat in UN Security Council.
Yes, sir. India is presently vying for a seat.
Okay, so what role India is playing in global arena? Why India should get the permanent seat?
Sir, India should get the permanent seat at UNSC because of several of its credentials, sir. Like all the credentials, like it is, although not at present, but it used to be one of the fastest growing economy. It is world's largest democracy. These are some of the credentials. Apart from that, what India is doing at the global level, sir, it is one of the leading countries in terms of tackling climate change, sir. For instance, we have launched International Solar Alliance, whereby we are leading from front. Then disaster resilience, coalition for disaster resilience infrastructure.
In order to promote the international peace, conflict resolution in the world, do you have any stake?
Yes, sir. We are one of the largest contributors in terms of manpower to UN peacekeeping force, sir. So that is also to India's credentials, a list of credentials for which it can stake claim to UNS permanent seats, in my view.
So, in what ways getting permanent seat in UN will solve the problems of India, some of the international issues related?
So first thing is that platform of UN is often misused by Pakistan in internationalizing the Jammu and Kashmir issue, sir. So if we are a permanent member, we could outrightly block such initiatives because we will get veto power, sir. Sir, secondly, because we will have veto power if we get permanent membership, so all the other countries which are not permanent member of UNSC, they will also try to forge better relationship with India in the hope that India would support them whenever they require. So,
out of the P5, there are something in air that India can get the permanent seat, but we will not allow to get the veto power.
Yes, sir. This is one of the latest. Our Indian UN representative had told that we are ready, that we get permanent membership without veto power as well, sir. But still, if we get even without veto power, sir, it would enhance India's stature at global arena, sir. By just becoming a permanent member itself, it signifies that India is one of the leading poles globally, sir.
Okay. While addressing European Union, the Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar said the defeat in 1962 war was the game changer in the context of India's global exposure. We have lost the race. Why did he say that? We have lost the race with China in global context since then.
Sir, from what I understand with this statement is that because we lost the war with China in 1962, so our global image had suffered heavily during that time, sir. So because of that, Chinese gained upper hand, which India could not rival it adequately, sir. So that may be one of the reasons why he said China took the lead.
It was a degeneration of the moral he is talking about, or the prestige at the global platform?
Sir, prestige at the global platform as well as moral, there are both the factors at play, sir. Because India was also, in its own eyes, somewhat we took a backseat. Sir.
Okay, so then from 1962 till date, do you think that we come out from that setback? And
Yes.
when exactly India coming out from that setback?
Sir, in my opinion, yes, we have come out of that setback. Post we acquire nuclear weapon in 1974 Pokhran test. At that time, India came out of that setback, in my opinion. Sir.
Nuclear power is a deterrent
Yes, sir, to
or a
some
threat?
extent. Sir, it is a deterrent, speaking from Indian perspective, but it is threat if we see humanity as a whole. Thank you, sir.
I think
Yes,
your interest is you are amateur photographer also.
yes, sir.
So don't you think nowadays everybody with mobile, everybody is amateur photographer. People love taking pictures and all. So which camera do you use? Camera? Or,
Yes, sir. I do use a DSLR camera, Nikon D5600. Sir.
okay. And you are on Instagram also? Instagram?
No, sir. I had account, but I have deactivated it. So,
Why?
sir, because I was preparing for civil services, so it kind of acted as distraction. That's why I temporarily deactivated.
What do you think of Instagram as a platform for photographers? Because now more than photographers, business persons are there to promote their business. So, is it a good idea to have such platform, Instagram?
Sir, any such technological platform has both the angles attached to it. There are positives as well. For instance, photographers can showcase whatever their talents and skills are through their photographs. Business community as well can get branding and marketing for their products. But at the same time, yes, sir, as you mentioned, there are both the sides attached. Negatives as well are there.
Right.
Like threat to privacy is there. Cyberbullying through Instagram is also present. So yes, sir, in my opinion, both the angles.
You are mechanical engineer, you have opted the subject also. Name any two advances which you feel are the latest and most significant advancements in mechanical engineering.
So first one is 3D printing and second one is robotics.
Robotics.
Yes, sir. These are the two recent advances.
Robotics, you follow robotics apart from your curriculum. You generally like to read about robotics. I mean, have you heard of Isaac Asimov? He is a science fiction writer.
Sorry, sir, I haven't.
Because he initiated 3 laws of robotics way back in earlier times.
Yes, sir. I had read those 3 laws.
Okay. And what about artificial intelligence? What is the future of artificial AI?
Sir, artificial intelligence do have a lot of scope going ahead in future, sir. It could, in my opinion, it could transform each and every sector. It can make its impact felt in each and every fields. For instance, be it medicine, legal field, lawyer, engineers, or industries. In each and every field, I guess, artificial intelligence will find its place.
And we were talking about coronavirus. What is zoonosis? How is that name?
Yes, sir. So, zoonotic diseases refers to any disease which is spread from animal to humans, sir. Like Nipah virus, novel coronavirus, Zika virus. All these are examples of zoonotic diseases.
And we have, of late, we are having the problem of resistance to antibiotics. People are taking antibiotics left and right, so they are not effectively treated. So, what do you think? How it can be curbed? How it can be stopped?
So, to fight antimicrobial resistance, first one should be strict enforcement of policies and laws which are already existing. For instance, over-the-counter selling of antibiotics without the prescription is a common norm in India, sir. So, zero tolerance policy towards that is required. Secondly, we also need to stop the use of antibiotics in the livestock industry, sir, because that is heavily misusing it. Sir, thirdly, the doctor and pharmacist nexus that we need to break down, because to get more and more concessions or commissions, doctors are overly prescribing some of the antibiotics to get more commissions. So this is one area where we should work upon, sir. And other than that, largely awareness generation among the people at large, that you should complete your dosage, and if you do not have any disease which is caused because of bacteria, then you should not unnecessarily use antibiotics, sir. So this awareness generation also we should focus upon.
Can you name any one Indian photographer that you adore, you like the work of Indian photographer?
Yes, sir. One is Mr. 𝐀𝐝𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐸. Sir, I have seen his work and it is really, I admire, sir.
Have you heard of Raghu Rai?
Yes, sir. He has written book Raghu Rai's India. So, although I have not seen his work, but I have read about it.
You must see that book also, see his works also.
Definitely. Thank you, sir.
Tell me, you play tennis, table tennis?
Yes, sir.
I always wonder, why we do so well in badminton but not so well in table tennis. You have any answer?
Sir, there are several reasons for this. First is because in badminton, we have very good role models, sir, like Saina Nehwal, PV Sindhu. Such role models, which are very famous and popular, are not present in case of table tennis, sir, at present. That is why the interest of people do not arise towards table tennis at first place. Secondly, sir, in case of badminton, it could be played just with, if you have two rackets, you can play badminton, sir. But same is not the case with table tennis.
Here you just need to.
Sir, but there are specific. Yes, sir. But here there are specific tables which are quite costly, which are required, sir. So
They are not more costly than the full badminton court that you have to make.
yes, sir, definitely. But badminton, we can play people playing badminton. We can see people playing badminton even on the streets, street or some playground, etc. They do not specifically require such court. Whereas in table tennis, you cannot play unless you have that specific table tennis table. So this is another reason because of which table tennis infrastructure itself is not adequately available. And sir, thirdly, to some extent, what I have observed is, if you see on TV badminton, that is quite slow game, and you can relate. You can easily find interest in watching those badminton games. But table tennis is very fast game, sir. So you cannot make sense out of where the ball is going and who one is hitting. It is quite fast game. So often I have seen people not finding adequate interest in watching table tennis also, sir. So this also may be one of the reasons.
Suppose tomorrow you become the district magistrate of Surat, and tell us one initiative you take to make this game of table tennis popular among children.
So for one initiative, I think China is doing really well, so we could replicate Chinese model into our system as well, sir. For instance, China is currently leading in table tennis across the world, and over there, the children who are very good in table tennis and they win some provincial level game or state level or national level table tennis championship, they are provided scholarship as well as tuition fees are also waived off. That is why parents proactively send their children when they are young to play table tennis. So that is why China is at number one in table tennis. So such model we could replicate over here as well.
You tell us some of the major national security challenges facing India today.
Sir, in terms of national security, first is left-wing extremism is a perennial challenge. Secondly, cyber security is one of the emerging fields which is posing challenge. Thirdly, black money. That is also posing challenge to financial security of India. Fourthly, of late, mob lynching and fake news. These are also newer areas of security concerns.
So, why do you link mob lynching with left-wing extremism? Is it that important a problem? Is it very widespread, happening on a large scale?
No, sir. As you rightly pointed out, these two are often, although not comparable in terms of its scale, but left-wing extremism has been existing since quite long. But this is new, although it is not very much prevalent, mob lynching, but it is a newer form emerging. So we have to be cautious about it. That is why I mentioned it as one of the
Not a law and order problem, not any kind of long-term. I don't think so. That's the issue. So okay, let's take left-wing extremism. Do you have any idea how the government they have a number of programs going on for the last several decades. Anything you have in mind which could add to ending this problem? Something you have innovative in mind?
Sir, although I do not have any out-of-the-box innovative solution for this, but whatever the government is doing, it is remaining largely, to some extent in my opinion, on paper. If whatever government has thought about development and security, if it is translated into real ground reality, then definitely, in my opinion, we will find solution towards this. So I think what we require is proper implementation of already thought out ideas rather than going for some new out-of-the-box ideas.
So you're saying the programs are not being put into practice. That's the thing you're saying.
Although yes, they are put into practice, but they are not.
Why is this? What is the reason behind that there are programs but it is not being implemented as you say? What could be the reason?
Sir, there are several challenges towards this front and realizing what we have actually desired into actually translating it into ground. First is, although we have designed several developmental policies in left-wing red corridor areas, but we are having finance issues, manpower issues, lack of motivation among the civil servants who are actually deployed in those areas. So these are holding back the full implementation or realization of these objectives.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.